All right. Hopefully I finally got it. Oh my goodness. Oh, it went to this video. The last video went to this video is not available. My goodness, I'm having issues with this new software. This might be my sign that I do not need to use this software. But actually I have to use this software because this is how I will be able to, not available. This is how I will be able to, yikes. Do a co-stream with my friends. Okay. But actually I have to use it. All right. We're doing this. We're live. We're doing this. I'm doing this. I love this so much for me. I really love this so much for me. I don't love this so much for me. Hey, Zivi. I have to be careful because my phone just thought that I was speaking to SIRI. I need to turn down my phone before it starts answering me and calling me by my real name. Hey, Gunnar. Hey, Jim. Oh, goodness. So, I am about to record this week's whispery history because I'd done it already, but yes, you did, Jake. Thank you for your patience because you skipped from one to the other while I was messing up with the software. I don't know what I did with the last one, but it's not been fun. Hey, Adam. I recorded this week's whispery history some time ago, and I was listening to it today as I was tweaking the video, and I wasn't very happy with the audio. Hey, Awesome Mead. I wasn't happy with the video because I kind of overdid it. Hey, Tizzy. I overdid it with the sound editing. It just didn't sound as good. It didn't sound as good as I would have liked it, and I kind of overdid it with the sound editing, and it sounded a little not mechanical, a little tinny, a little electronic. It was not good, a little muddy. So I'm going to redo this and see if we can get a better take. Oh, Wildcat. Hi, Wildcat. And Adam, thank you for Gunnar, thank you for saying hi to Wildcat because that one slipped by me. And I will apologize in advance because I'm going to be looking between windows and reading. So I am going to miss people who pop up in the chat. But thank you for joining me. Okay, let's do this. A little sip of water. Because this is going to be whispery. We're going to be all whispery. And, oh, you know what I need? I need a visual signal. That's normally, like if you're recording, you'll clap or snap or something like that to show a spike in the sound waves when you're editing, so you know where you just did a retake. But when I'm doing these VTube streams and VTube recordings, I need a visual on that as well. So, all right, let's go. Today's story. Nope, that's not whispering. Let's try this again. I'm already fucking up. That's what happens. And I might have sound. No, it's not. There was a truck going by. I wasn't sure if it was going to be coming closer or further away. No, it's good. Today's story comes with a trigger warning. Not because it might remind you of some past traumas, but because it might create some new ones. today's story is going to be gross. I mean, seriously gross. So, anything that happens to you from here on out, that's on you. There's the fucking truck. Today's story comes with a trigger warning. Not because it may remind you of some past traumas, but because it might create some new ones. Today's story is going to be really gross. I mean, really gross. Seriously. So, anything that happens to you from here on out, you've been warned. That's on you. Welcome to Whispery History. On November 1970, in a little beach town named Florence, Oregon, population just about 3,000 people, there landed a 45-foot, 8-ton carcass of a sperm whale. The whale had been on the beach for a few days, becoming more and more ripe. The smell from the rotting whale was being carried off by the offshore winds, right into that small community. And it was only going to get worse. Now, at the time, Oregon beaches were taken care of by the Oregon Department of Transportation. And they had consulted with the U.S. Navy on what to do and decided that the best course of action would be to blow the whale up with dynamite. I can hear... I don't know if that got picked up, but I'm going to not take a chance. We're going to do that one over. Grosser than boogers and pukes. Yes, definitely grosser than boogers and pukes. Brian, and hi, David, and... All right. We're going to start that last paragraph over. The smell from the rotting whale was being carried by offshore winds into the small community. I don't like that take. The smell from the rotting whale was being carried by offshore winds into the small community. And it was only going to get worse. Now, at that time, Oregon beaches were taken care of by the Oregon Department of Transportation. They had consulted with the U.S. Navy and decided that the best course of action would be to blow the whale up with dynamite. Now, in fairness to the people who were running the department at the time, exploding the whale was not their first choice. They considered burying it, but there was a very strong possibility that the waves would uncover it if they did. They considered cutting it up and taking it away in smaller pieces. But nobody was volunteering to be that hands-on with a rotted whale. Burning was a possibility, but for some reason they didn't do that. Perhaps they realized that turning 8 tons of rotting whale into an incense burner wouldn't have gone well. Hey, Laura. Hi, Alex. Hello, Hobo. And hello, Greenie. Hi, Greenie. Greenie. Welcome to me messing up this audio. Christian, hi, baby. Okay. Back to this. Where was it? Burning was a possibility. Yes, burning was a possibility. And more water. Hey, 227. And Iron Defense, hey ya. All right. Burning was a possibility, but for some reason they didn't do that. Perhaps they realized that turning... I can't say this line without laughing. Hey, you're random. Hey, Will. Let me try this again, because this line... I do like, especially if I've been away from a line for a while, like, I make myself so freaking happy when I go see something that I've written like years before or something like that, and I'll just make myself laugh because I've completely forgotten what jokes I've put in there. Hey, 227. I'm recording for this week's Whispery History. I'd done it a while ago, but I didn't like the sound quality. I overdid it with the audio editing. So okay. So, ooh, I shouldn't have done that. Did I just fuck up my sound? I'm okay. All right. Burning was a possibility. Let's try this again, because this is going to make me laugh. Okay. Laughing at my own jokes. This is not good. And now I know I've got people watching me as I laugh at my own jokes. They could ground it up and feed it to the kids. McDonald's filet of, oh, fuck. Oh. Why, thank you. Welcome. Hey, Valent, you haven't missed a lot. I'm going through a Whispery History where I'm going through and trying to record another Whispery History because I overdid the sound editing on my last one. Yeah, whale burgers. We're telling the story of the exploding whale in Oregon. Right, let's try this paragraph again. It's going to turn out to be like a 3-minute audio. Like, it's going to be so short by the time I'm done, but it takes me so long to record. Okay. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Burning was a possibility, but for some reason, they didn't do that. Perhaps they realized that turning 8 tons of rotted fuck... It's not that funny. It is not that funny of a line. Oh my goodness. Okay. Burning was a possibility, but for some reason, they didn't do that. Perhaps they realized that turning 8 tons of rotting whale into an incense burner wouldn't have gone over well with the local residents. The Department of Transportation put an engineer named George Thornton in charge of the operation. George, suffice it to say, had never blown up a whale before, and he was not an explosives expert. He was an engineer for the Department of Transportation. On occasion, they might have to blow up a boulder that had fallen into the road. But this sort of thing was a different beast. Quite literally. Yeah. An explosion date of November 12th was set at 3:45. Or... what is it? Shit. Oh, word got around. Me and my frickin' typos. Okay. I did this. You know what? I also recorded it twice. You would think I would have fixed that. I wonder if I actually recorded it with the, like, just read the typo when I recorded it earlier. So, we do need an Ishmael. Let's turn that into another paragraph so I can, okay. We will go back. George, suffice it to say, had never blown up a whale before. And he was not an explosives expert. He was an engineer for the Department of Transportation. Wow, I don't normally make this many mistakes. Mistakes. I don't normally make this many mini mistakes. It's because I'm being watched. Okay. Yes, that is me blaming all of you for my mouth. Hey, Michonne. I'm sorry, Michonne. I did. I screwed up with the streaming. I'm switching streaming software. And I don't know what I did wrong. I have no idea. I had to restart. Anyway. All right. I know, the pressure. The pressure. George, suffice it to say, had never blown up a whale before. And he was not an explosives expert. He was an engineer for the Department of Transportation. On occasion, they might have to blow up a boulder that had fallen into the road, but this was a different sort of beast altogether. Literally. An explosion date of November 12th was set at 3:45 p.m. Word got around. And in this era, before home computers and cable television, and presumably before any other form of entertainment, people came from all around Oregon and Washington to watch a man explode a whale. News reporters were there as well. They interviewed George Thornton, and he was optimistic. He did say that he wasn't entirely certain how much dynamite it would take. But he thought, if half a ton wasn't enough, and there were still some large chunks left, they could come back tomorrow and set off a few more charges. Half a ton of dynamite. He thought it might not be enough. In a way, he was right. But he didn't foresee any problems. Not then. Half a ton of explosives for an 8-ton whale. Meanwhile, a military veteran with explosives training and experience had come to see the whale explode. He had concerns about the amount of dynamite being used. He voiced them. He warned that 20 cases was excessive. 20 sticks would have been enough. Half a ton is 450 kilograms. He was recommending less than 4. Suffice it to say, I wouldn't be telling this story today if anybody had listened to him. And I just heard a truck. We're going to have to do that last line again. I love that, though. Half a ton. 450 kilograms. He said no, 4. 4. Just stop at 4. Should have used a ton. Okay. Half a ton is 450 kilograms. He was recommending less than 4. Suffice it to say, I wouldn't be telling this story today if anybody had listened to him. Onlookers were moved back away from the whale, a quarter-mile. By now, I'm certain you realize that that was not enough. That was not far enough. A Portland news reporter named Paul Lindman was on the scene with his cameraman. They captured the explosion on film from their vantage point a quarter-mile away, where everyone had been shuffled to. From the time the explosion is detonated, there are 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, before the first thuds are heard. Like popcorn. If popcorn plopped instead of popped. Plopcorn. First 1, then 2, then 2 together, and then 3 and 5 at a time. Small chunks and large chunks come flying their way. A few moments later, a woman in the background can be heard saying, a woman... I'm remembering it. I'm sorry. Sorry. I need to start this one over again. A few moments later, a woman in the background can be heard saying, "Here they come. The pieces of..." No, fuck that line up. A few moments later, a woman in the background can be heard saying, "Here come the pieces of..." But whatever she calls it is cut off as the cameraman and the reporter end their filming abruptly and run away. Okay, so now, luckily, no one was injured by one of the large chunks of whales that had been spewed as far as half a mile away. Half a mile away, flying whale. Well, okay, nobody had been injured physically. Nobody had been hurt physically, perhaps. Emotionally, different story. A man named Larry Bacon. Larry Bacon was a reporter for the Register Guard that day. He was interviewed years later, and he still remembered the smell. He said that it stuck to their clothes and it lingered with onlookers for days, made people retch. Out in the parking lot, a 3-foot large chunk of whale landed on a car. Its steel roof was crushed down level with its hood and its trunk. Flattened that car. The car belonged to the veteran who had warned that they were using too much dynamite. And you cannot make this up. He had recently purchased it during a sale titled "Get a Whale of a Deal" promotion. When he was interviewed after the explosion, George Thornton When he was interviewed after the explosion, George Thornton thought that it had gone well. After all, a large portion of the whale had been broken down into very small pieces. Of course, the birds who were Let me try this from the beginning of this paragraph, okay? The car that belonged to the veteran who had warned, God damn it. That car belonged to the veteran who had warned that they were using too much dynamite. He'd recently purchased I've had this mouth with me all my life. You would think I'd be used to it by now. Oh my God, it's raining whale. Hallelujah. Yeah, okay, that I read while I was drinking a glass of water. Okay. That car belonged to the veteran who had warned that they were using too much dynamite. He'd recently purchased it during a sale titled, and I am not making this up, it was titled the Get a Whale of a Deal promotion. When he was interviewed after the explosion, George Thornton thought that it had gone well. After all, a large portion of the whale had been broken down into very small pieces. Of course, 2/3 of it had remained, and the scavengers, who had been waiting all day for their meal, who were meant to pick apart what was left of the carcass, they were frightened off by the explosion. But the one bright side is that the dynamite had blown a large hole in the sand beneath the whale, and it was put to use the next day when bulldozers came and buried what was left of the whale. Now, if this story sounded familiar to you and you're not from the American Pacific Northwest, it could be that it's... If this story sounded familiar to you and you're not from the American Pacific Northwest, it could be because it's been recreated in scenes from The Simpsons and Reno 911 and an Australian film called Swinging Safari. The humorist and writer Dave Barry brought this story into the world, not into the world. If this story sounded familiar to you, and you're not from the American Pacific Northwest, it could be because it's been recreated in scenes from The Simpsons, Reno 911, and the Australian film called Swinging Safari. The humorist writer... Why is this hard to say? It's not. It's not hard to say. If this story sounded familiar to you and you're not from the American Pacific Northwest, it could be because it's been recreated in scenes from The Simpsons, Reno 911, and an Australian film called Swinging Safari. The humorist and writer Dave Barry brought this story to the world in 1990 when he was writing for his column in the Miami Herald. Why is this one giving me trouble? The humorist and writer Dave Barry brought this story to the world in 1990 when he was writing for his column in the Miami Herald. He'd been a reporter in the 70s, and he'd processed footage of the exploding whale story. He said that at work they'd watched it often, especially at parties. By this point, computers were starting to come into every home, and copies of the article were passed from bulletin board to bulletin board, and interest began to grow and grow. A quarter of a century after the incident, the Oregon Department of Transportation started getting more and more calls about the story from people who thought that it had either just recently occurred or that it never occurred at all, thinking it was just an urban legend. Eventually, the footage of Paul Lindman's news Eventually, the footage of Paul Lindman's news report made it online and became a viral video. And 50 years after the event, the news station that had originally aired the footage remastered and re-released it for the anniversary. Today, the people of Florence, Oregon celebrate and commemorate Today, the people of Florence, Oregon celebrate and commemorate and memorialize the whale. Each year in November, they have the Exploding Whale Memorial Celebration, where they tell a chunk of history and have a whale trail throughout town. And a lot of people dress up as whales. And they've even created the Exploding Whale Memorial Park near the beach where the whale landed. These days, Oregon beaches are under the jurisdiction of the Oregon State Parks Department. I'm not saying it's because of this, but I'm also not saying it. George Thornton was promoted a few months later to the Medford office, where there are no beaches and no whales. He was interviewed 20-odd years after the whale had been exploded, and he still maintained to that day that it had been He was interviewed 20-odd years after the whale had been exploded, and still maintained that to that day, wow. Okay. We'll wait for that truck to pass. It's probably not being picked up, but I don't want to have to do more editing. Had to stop, and moral of the story is more dynamite. Yes, that's the moral of the story. He was He was interviewed 20-odd years later after, wow, God damn it. He was interviewed 20-odd years later after the whale had been exploded, and still maintained to that day that it had been a success. He believed that it had been turned into a public relations problem by hostile media reports. After the incident, it did become public policy in Oregon that when a whale lands on a beach, it will be buried where it landed. And for my final update of this story, all those onlookers did eventually get the smell out of their clothes. Thank you for listening to another Whispery History. I'll talk to you later. Oh, hey guys. And hey, hi John, hi Leo, hi Imp, hi Mushana said hi to you. You only get one hi. I'm joking. You get all the highs you want. Hi Brian. An umbrella would have been useless. Oh yeah, it flattened a steel car. It flattened a steel car, a 3-foot chunk of that whale. It was like, I'm going to have to link to the original story, the original video of the news report, because it is priceless. Those few moments between when you see the whale explode, and you can kind of see the spray, the mist, the viscera, and then you hear the first thuds, and oh my God, it's beautiful. It's horrifying, and it's beautiful. Oh goodness, largest beach bonfire. It would not. Oh, what an awful stench that would have been. Oh, I don't know that it would have been improved by burning, but oh my goodness, Mushan, thank you so much. Hey, Nocturne. And oh, you're gonna make me call out all the people who are lurking. That's what's happening. Hello, everybody. Lurking is okay. I won't call out people who are lurking. But, all right. I have to get going, and I have so much. Hey, Rogue. I have so much editing to do from this because I messed up so many times. I don't normally mess up this many times when I'm recording. I mess up. Don't get me wrong. I mess up, but I don't mess up this often. But you want 20 highs? You can. Hi. Hello, Eclipse. I'm going to be nice to you. Today's the day that I'm going to be nice to Eclipse all day. It started at midnight, so I am most of the day and most of the way through. My 24 hours of being nice to Eclipse was aided by my not seeing him for most of those 24 hours. Thank you, Gunnar. Thank you so very much. I am good. I am very good. It is always good to be me. This engineering point of boom boom would have worked. I love the part that like they had 450 that they needed four. They needed four. Less than 1/100th of what they had. That was fabulous. Jean, don't lie to him like that. Oh, you mean being nice to Eclipse? I am. I'm going to change his nickname in the server to Sweet Lips. I'm going to change his nickname to Sweet Lips. Looking forward to 1201. We can change his name. Okay. For those who are not familiar, Eclipse is in the Spice Rack server. That is the Discord server for all of the patrons of any of the people in the Spice Rack. So me, Starlit Audio, Method Switch, Xena Alexander, Clover Says Hi, and Lacey, who I'm probably going to be doing a live stream on Twitch on Sunday. If you're following Lacey on Twitch, we're gonna. The idea is that we're going to do a dual stream, and that's why I was coming on today to like play with the new software that lets me do that. But anyway, in the server for all of the Spice Rack, Eclipse has, from very early on, has been an integral part of that server and a beloved member. But we also, a few of us pick on him mercilessly because he's a very good sport, and he sets us up. He sets us up for the punchline. He is such a straight man, straight-ish man. Straight-ish. This is not me being, I'm not going to make jokes about it, because I'm being nice to him today. But he's a wonderful straight man, and he sets us up for so many jokes, and he takes them so graciously and so kindly and enjoys them when we kind of abuse him, frankly. But he's very kind, and so I change his nickname in the server on a regular basis. Actually, I do, Xena does, I think Method does a few times, Nikki does, and you can always tell like which one of us has changed his name, or you can usually tell which one of us has changed his name, because I will always do something that rhymes with Eclipse, and it's amazing how many things rhyme with Eclipse. A lot of things. And a lot of things are very silly and a little bit gross and not kind, but today he's Sweet Lips, because I'm going to be nice to him all day. For 24 hours, I'm a fucking angel. That's how I got to be an angel. I'm a fucking angel. Yes, Mushan collab stream is what we're planning to. But also, oh, thank you, Eclipse. Some kindness back. Meezy and Nikki. Nikki is also just our backbone, our right-hand man. He is an assistant to all of us. For if you see things being posted to other areas, like when you see me being posted, when you see my videos being posted to Spotify or something, that was Nikki has been helping me with that. And he helps Xena with Spotify and Spreaker. Mushan, thank you, sweetie. You're always so kind. Hey, Momo. I just said that I'm not going to call out lurkers. I'm not going to call out lurkers. If people don't want to be called out, if people don't want to like say that they're here, we're not going to call them out. I need to get past that knee-jerk reaction to see a name and call it out. All right, guys. And on that note, I am going to actually end the stream now and dip out so that I can cut some of this down and edit it. And hopefully get it done by tomorrow. I've got like all the images and stuff that I need. So the hard part is done, I think. Nature Jack, hi. I said I was going to leave, but I'm going to stay a few more minutes. You would not catch me live. I'm usually so very, very stage fright. Like the few minutes before I go live really mess me up. Tizzy, thank you. And the longer I know that I'm going to be going live, the worse it is for me. So if I get a moment where I'm like, you know what, I should do this. This is something I can do online live. I need to jump on it so that I don't psych myself up. But hey, Mando. Thank you. Yeah, cute angel, kind of an angel. I lost the halo, and now the wings are gone too because they just take up too much of the screen, but they'll be back. Iron Defense, thank you. Thank you so much. You guys are so nice to me. You guys are all so very nice to me. I will never know what I did to deserve you, but I am so thankful because it's nice. You guys let me do things like this that make me very happy. It is very kind of you. All right, guys. I hope you will all be as good to yourselves as you are to me. I will accept Eclipse because, like, I would like people to be nicer to me than I am to Eclipse. Oh, wait, no, he's still very good to me. Anyway, yeah, that's right. Mando, Xena's got the halo. Laura's that she replaced it with an onion ring. So that's what that smell is. I just realized how much my eyes are blinking in this every time I toss my head back. Right. You guys take care. I will